this. So, what is the reason for the conflict between Arabs and Jews?
A very good question, Vijaya. But I think I will take a minimum of 10 minutes
So,
answering this
please,
question.
we are eager to listen from you.
Because everyone is talking about the attack of Hamas on Israel and Israel killing the Hezbollah chief in Iran and so on and so forth. They are only talking about the present crisis. That would not help us in any way to understand the crisis in Middle East. Now, I would like to make a very emphatic, very clear-cut, daring statement that the present conflict in Middle East is not the conflict between the Arabs and the Jew. It is not at all the conflict, the crisis between the Jews and the Arabs. It is, in fact, without any possibility of raising any question, any doubt, undoubtedly, this is the crisis and conflict between the God of the Bible and the people who don't believe the Bible.
Okay.
This is the crisis and this is the fight and this is the struggle between the people who don't want to believe the Bible and the God of the Bible. These are the two parties. Israel is only a visible tool in the hand of God. But the invisible God, the God of the Bible, is the one who is running the whole show. To understand this, we have to understand the formation of the nation of Israel. When and how and why was the nation of Israel formed? And why are the Arabs angry with Israel? Why do Arabs hate Israel? And what makes Israel so strong in spite of all the neighboring countries being against them? They are surrounded on all sides only by the rival countries and enemies. Yet they are growing stronger and stronger every day, every year. So we have to understand, actually, the story goes back to 1890, the end of 19th century. At the end of 19th century, there was a Jewish journalist in Austria, European journalist. He was a Jew actually. His name is Theodor Herzl. Theodor Herzl. He was a journalist and he is the founder of the Zionist movement. The Zionist movement or Zionism is the contention and it is the conviction that the Jews must have their own homeland. And that should not be in any other place. It should be in the Palestine, the land of Palestine.
Okay.
The reason for Theodor Herzl for proposing this is, from human point of view, Jews were scattered into every nation under the sky for almost 1900 years. That is nearly 2000 years, we can say. 1900 years they have been scattered. They have been scattered into practically every nation under the sky. And after that, they were hated wherever they went, especially in Europe. You know, the Holocaust of Hitler, Adolf Hitler, he killed 6 million Jews. And in many other European countries, people were against the Jews. And Jews, they prosper wherever they go. They make business and they are successful in the business. And they are the financiers even for the British government. They were the financiers for the Second World War. For the Second World War, British people, they were running out of finances. So Jews have supported them financially. They were so rich. So everyone was hating them, hating them. So because of this hatred, Mr. Theodor Herzl, Austrian Jewish journalist, founded a Zionist movement. And they began to raise the slogan, the demand that Jews must have their own motherland. At that time, the present day Jerusalem and Israel, the Gaza Strip, West Bank, Golan Heights, they were all occupied by Arabs
Okay.
at that time in 1890. So, this Theodor Herzl was proposing that they should have their own land. At that time, Ottoman Turkish government, Ottoman Sultanate, they were ruling this Palestine
Okay.
area. Mr. Theodor Herzl went to the Sultan of Ottoman Kingdom and requested him to bifurcate, divide the land into two pieces. One for Arabs, one piece for Israel. And they said, we will pay you any amount of money you want. But the Sultan said, no, I cannot do this. Then the area became under the control of British government. Then even they said, don't disturb the Palestinian people. You can take your motherland in Uganda or some other place. We will create a state for Israel,
Okay.
not in this Palestinian area. But these Jewish people, they had a Congress, International Congress for Zionism. 200 people attended, and they were very adamant on the demand. We must have our own ancestral land only in Palestine. After that, what this man Theodor Herzl said, what he did is, because the Turkish government, Ottoman Emperor, and the British government, they are not willing to give us a land in Palestine. They said, we will go and buy land in Palestine. They invested huge amounts of money because they were very rich, as rich as they could even finance the Second World War. The British government was financed by these people. They were so rich. So vast lands in Palestine they purchased. And Arabs did not foresee, did not suspect anything, any danger when Jews were coming. They were just looked upon like Europeans or some people. They are buying. They were landlords of Arab origin, Arab nations. They were landlords, and they sold that land to Jews. So they began to slowly acquire more and more lands and removed the Arab people who were the labor people working in the fields, and they employed only Jews bringing from other nations. So this man Theodor Herzl was the root cause for all this, and he created an area within Palestine. They purchased the land legally. Arabs sold the land to them. This is the history.
Okay.
And after that, they kept on demanding we should have our own land in Palestine because this belongs to our ancestors. At that time, the British people, they lost in the Second World War and they moved out of that Palestine area and they handed over the issue of Arab-Israel conflict to the United Nations of Organization, UNO. And the UNO, they said, okay, this is the place for Israelites, Jews, and that is the place for Arabs. You can live in peace, divide the land. And in May 1948, Ben Gurion was the first Prime Minister of Israel.
Yes, 1940.
He made the declaration. Jews declared themselves as the independent state, independent country in 1948 May.
Okay.
Immediately the next day itself, 5 Arab countries, Lebanon, Egypt, Syria and Iraq, Jordan, all of them in 1948, they invaded upon Israel, then waged a war. And Israel won the war, and Arabs lost the war. And Israel took over the Golan Heights and the West Bank and Gaza Strip. So every time, actually, 4 major wars were fought between Arabs and Israel. Every time, Israel began to increase their land,
Okay.
expand their land. So after that, in 1967 again, there was another war, 6 days war. Then again they expanded their territory because Arabs were losing every time. And 1973, there was a war we call as Yom Kippur War. Yom Kippur is one of the very important and holy feast of Israel. That is what we call the Day of Atonement. Day of Atonement is a very important feast. On that day, these Arab nations attacked them. And still, even in Yom Kippur War, Israel won the battle. So again, the other day, when Hamas launched an attack on Israel, that was again the same day of prayer because they expected Jews will be busy with their prayers and their festive mood, so they can easily take control over Israel. But then their intelligence was very fast. They could not do anything. So this is the human point of view. Actually, first thing is, under the leadership of Theodor Herzl, they purchased the land, so it belongs to them. Secondly, in 4 wars, imported wars, they won the land in the battle, so it belongs to them. And from God's point of view, this is the reason I said this is the conflict between the God of the Bible and the people who disbelieve the Bible. There are 2 verses in the Holy Bible. Actually, Jews were scattered all over the world because of their sin, their rejection of Messiah. When Jesus came to the people of Israel and he incarnated there, God incarnated as the Savior of the mankind, the nation of Israel rejected him outrightly and they crucified him. And as the punishment for that sin, God scattered them into every nation under the sky. In the book of Deuteronomy 30th chapter, there is a clear prophecy that the children of Israel, the people of Israel, shall come back to their land. Actually, the Zionist movement is the work of God. Zionist movement is the work of the God of the Bible.
Okay.
And that is the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. I am reading from Deuteronomy 30th chapter, 3rd and 4th verses. Deuteronomy 30th chapter, 3rd and 4th verses. Then the Lord your God will restore your fortunes and have compassion on you and gather you again from all the nations where he scattered you. Even if you have been banished to the most distant land under the heavens, from there the Lord your God will gather you and bring you back. He will bring you to the land that belonged to your ancestors. This is the key word.
Amazing.
The ancestors of Israel. They were Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and King David, Solomon. All those thousands of years, that land belonged to their ancestors. God is promising, I shall bring you back to the land of your ancestors, the land that belonged to your ancestors. And you will take possession of it. They have taken possession of it. This is the biblical prophecy coming true. Now people are fighting against the God of the Bible.
Okay.
That is the reason they will never win. They will always lose the battle. See, he will make you more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors, than the prosperity that was in the days of David and Solomon. These people in the end time, when they are gathered again to their motherland, the land of their ancestors, they shall be more prosperous and more in number also, more numerous.
Okay.
This is the prophecy of the Holy Bible. That's what happened beginning from 1890. Mr. Theodore Herzl, he said, after having the Congress for Zionism, he said, within 50 years, the nation of Israel will be reborn. The nation of Israel will be reborn within 50 years. And almost he was right. When he died, he said this prophecy, and then in 1948, they became a nation. The very next day, they had to face a war, and 4 major wars. Every time they were victorious, expanding their territory. Now people are saying they are occupying the Arabs' homeland. Actually, the whole earth belongs to the God of the Bible, because He is the only God there is. God of the Bible is the creator. He is the one who created Adam out of the dust of the ground, and He is the God who created every nation, and He has the right over the whole earth, and He allotted that land to Israel, and nobody can remove them from that. So this is the conflict between the God of the Bible, God of Israel, and the people who don't respect the God of Israel.